Badminton brothers Stuart and Ashley Brehaut will know next week if they've been included in the Australian Olympic team. If successful, it'll be the first time two brothers have represented Australia in badminton at the same Olympic Games.
Next week can't come soon enough for Ballarat's Ashley Brehaut. He's waiting to hear if he's made it into the Australian badminton team for the Athens Olympics. The announcement is expected on Thursday, and it could be a double celebration for the Brehaut family, with brother Stuart also in contention for the team.
Hopefully we'll both get there. Stuart's, I think, he's done enough in his singles to qualify, and hopefully I've done enough for the doubles to qualify.
Ashley is one of 80 players contesting the Ballarat International Tournament this weekend. He's playing in the doubles with Hung Pham. It's a rare opportunity for Ashley to play at home. In recent months, he's been forced to travel the world to play in tournaments.
We've had a lot of tournaments away lately trying to qualify for the Olympics.
The Ballarat International is growing in stature, with players from as far as Egypt and Malaysia making the trip to Australia for the tournament. They're playing for crucial world ranking points.
We're rapt again to have such a good international field coming. We've got players from 6 different countries.
While the spectators are feeling the cold, the action on the court will heat up on Sunday morning, with the final starting at 11 o'clock. Lucy Waddell, Win News.
Briefly now, 8 of country Victoria's best netballers will line up
in a bid to secure another international event. The bid must be endorsed by Badminton Australia and sponsorship secured before the city gets the nod again. It follows the success of the Ballarat International at the weekend.
Stuart Brehaut is better known for his prowess in the singles, but after losing to eventual winner Sarul Ayob in the semis, he turned his attention to the mixed doubles. He played with fellow Australian Tanya Louise. They went down fighting to the experienced combination of Travis Denny and Kate Wilson-Smith. Ashley Brehaut had been eyeing off the silverware in the men's doubles, but he collected the runners-up trophy with Hung Pham, defeated by Travis Denny and Boyd Cooper.
I think Ashley's a bit disappointed. He's lost 4 out of 4 so far at the Ballarat International, so he'll be looking to redeem himself next year, I'm sure.
After 3 days of competition, Australia had won all of the events except the men's singles. Ballarat's Kelly Lucas, who withdrew from Olympic contention, had her time in the spotlight despite losing in the semi-finals. The Badminton Association naming one of its courts after her in recognition of her achievements. Organisers say they will attempt to host the event next year, but first they must get the nod from Badminton Australia and find the money.
I want to bring international badminton here at least once a year if we can get it, and if we can't, then we'll try again each and every year, because it's great for our juniors, it's great for the public to come and see international badminton at its best.
Lucy Waddell, Win News.
Ballarat Uni has just fallen short of toppling ladder lead.
Because no matter how well you know them, tractors can kill.
Good evening. Every football tradition will continue with brothers Stuart and Ashley Brehaut named in the Australian team for the Athens Olympics. Ashley will represent Australia in the men's doubles, while Stuart will play in the singles competition. It'll be the first Olympics for both the brothers. Ashley says he's feeling relieved after an anxious few months awaiting the team announcement. It'll be an all-family affair at the Athens Games. The Brehauts are the third set of siblings to be named in the Australian team. Cyclist Matthew Opperman
Sofitel competition, and many of you, the good competition is coming up to 10 minutes to 7. Well, as you know, we are counting down to Athens here on Sunrise. We are very excited because this is the Olympics program, and another set of siblings has just secured an Olympic spot.
Stuart and Ashley Brehaut will represent Australia in badminton. Guys, good morning to both of you. Congratulations, and probably just as well you both got picked, is it?
Yeah, it's certainly good to go with your brother, so it made it easier for Mum and Dad that both of us got in.
Now, are you competing as doubles, or you're both in the singles?
No, Stuart's playing the men's singles and I'm playing the men's doubles with my usual partner.
Oh, OK. So how come the two of you didn't partner up? Did you have a dispute or something?
We've played together before, and I must say we did win a couple of tournaments together. But I think that was short-lived, and there would have been more sort of fighting on the court than actually playing.
So who's the better player?
Well, of course I'd have to say me.
Now, you guys, did you sort of get into badminton later, or was badminton a sport that your family always played from when you were young?
No, Mum used to play when we were young, and Dad used to be a tennis coach. So I played both tennis and badminton from about kindergarten onwards. At age 10, I decided to stick with badminton and give tennis away, and this is the result.
So, what's the difference between tennis and badminton? It looks as though you need a lot more wrist. Is that the secret?
Yeah, it is. I think that's the main difference, and I think badminton's a little bit quicker. The shuttle does travel up to 300 kilometres an hour, so you do have to have quite quick reflexes.
It's quicker,
and
you reckon?
Yeah, so it is. It's been speed checked at 300 kilometres an hour, so a tennis serve only goes 220, so it's a little bit quicker.
Wow. And what about you, Ashley? Did you play anything else or just badminton?
I tried to get into the tennis, didn't really have a good knack for that, and sort of the ball sort of went a little bit wayward, actually, not to the court, so I gave that up pretty quickly.
Now, you're a first-timer, Ashley. Both of you are to Athens. How exciting is it? And what have you heard about going to the Olympics? Have you got any sort of survival tips from anyone?
No, I'm hopeful to sort of catch up with a couple of Olympians from Ballarat, sort of find out what we're actually going to be looking forward to. Sort of excited about going, but also very nervous about getting over there and playing in this kind of world stage. It's going to be huge.
Oh, good on you. At least it'll be great you've got each other and you both know what you're going through, so I'm sure that will make it fun as well. Now, we've got a quick quiz for you. We subject all our Olympians to this so we can find out a bit more about you. Stuart, favourite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Ashley?
Austin Powers.
All right. Favourite way to unwind after competition, Stuart?
Playing golf.
Oh, you're a real sportsman. Ashley?
I'd have to say watching the Geelong Football Club win.
Now, favourite singer or band?
Coldplay.
And Silverchair.
And if you could take one person to dinner, dead or alive, who would it be?
Being a golfing nut, probably Tiger Woods.
And sorry about this, Koshy, but I'd have to say Mel.
Oh, thanks. Oh, Ashley, you're a charmer.
Well, actually, I'm really
Koshy can
about
pay.
that.
He'll pick up the bill. Don't you worry about it.
Would you open the door for her? What's the dating etiquette if you took Mel out? Do you pay or would you go Dutch?
No, certainly I'd have to pay for that one.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, what a charmer. All right, I'm blushing. It's so lovely to meet both of you. Good luck, and we can't wait to hear how you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Ashley's easily pleased, isn't he? 6 minutes to 7 o'clock ahead this morning. Should the morning after...
kill my moment. I was just blushing and flattered, and then you just come in and go, bang, it's all over.
Should the morning after pill be banned? We'll hear from both sides.
We will, but right now, our quiz question.
We're in Athens. Brad Schmidt tells us the high-tech...
The build-up to Athens is about to begin in earnest for two Ballarat brothers. Stuart and Ashley Brehaut fly to Perth next week for their final international tournament before the Olympics begin in August. It's all starting to get a little real for the Brehaut brothers. After an agonising wait to see if they were on the Australian Olympic team, the pace towards Athens is about to pick up immeasurably.
Certainly starting to get a bit nervous now. We're going to Perth, I think, next week. We've got a training camp, and then I think it's really going to hit home that we're going to the Olympics.
It will be the first Olympics for both brothers. Stuart has been to 2 Commonwealth Games, Ashley 1, but both agree Athens will be another level up.
To walk and march in that opening ceremony, as I said, 2 Commonwealth Games, that was a highlight, I think, but the march in the Olympic Stadium will be absolutely sensational.
Ashley will go into the Olympics with an injury concern. He's about to have a second injection in his ankle to keep a tendinitis problem at bay, but he says he'll play on 1 foot if he needs to.
It would be the excitement, sort of the adrenaline over there that I think even if it is still sore, as soon as I get on that court, I'm not going to feel it.
The pair has attracted almost as much media attention for being sibling team members as the entire badminton coverage in 2000. Stuart says it'll be good to have little brother tag along.
It'll be good to have him over there. It's, I guess it keeps a bit of normality as well. And it'll be good for me to be able to tell him off now and again when he's over there. So, as I said, just keeps normal.
The Australian team will have a 10-day training camp with the Singapore national team before heading to Athens. The Olympic badminton tournament starts on August 14. Bray Raceway in Ballarat will be the venue tonight for a match race.
Roof in the 1500 metres. Please say hello to Craig Stephen.
As an athlete on my path to glory, I feel that I've got good eyes, I've got very quick hands. Today, I'm going to have a crack at becoming a shuttler.
Hey, this is shuttling. No, it's actually badminton. Here we are with Stuart, Kate and Ashley. What are the key elements I better get used to?
The main idea is to hit it on their side of the net, make it hit the ground first. So obviously you want to jump nice and high, you want to hit it nice and hard, flick the wrist.
That's what I call a shuttlecock.
Come on, Spida.
Well, you're running towards it, I'm running backwards. I can't be that bad. Surely, you're not too good. Now, oh, hey, Stuart, you said you're going to go forward.
Spida, up the other end, mate. I've had enough.
Well, shuttling's not for me, unfortunately, so I'm just going to take my cock and go.
I give 110%.
Subtlety, my name is Spida. Look, Mike, I have to say it, South Sydney played well. They had a win against the Premiers.
Strength and flexibility are part of the skill set of the best athletes competing in the badminton disciplines next month in Athens. 4 of the 6 players are from Victoria, including Stuart and Ashley Brehaut from Ballarat. Marking a place in history, they will be the first brothers to compete in badminton at the Olympic Games. Today we speak with Australia's #1 player in the men's singles, Stuart Brehaut. Welcome to the program, Stuart.
Thank you.
Now, who is involved in the team with you going to Athens?
Yeah, we have 6 players, so there's myself, my brother Ashley, the other male player is Travis Denny, he's actually originally from Western Australia. Then we have Kate Wilson-Smith, Jane Crabtree and Lenny Pomana.
And this is the first time for all of you to go to Olympic Games.
It is. I just missed out in Sydney, and the other players didn't even try out for Sydney, so we're all first-time Olympians.
So what was the selection criteria?
Yeah, our selection criteria actually goes over a 12-month period, so it's May 2003 to May 2004. Consists of world ranking tournaments during that 12-month period. You play as many as you can, you gain as many ranking points as you can, and then at the end of the May 2004 they produce a ranking list, and if you're ranked high enough then you get to go to the Olympics.
So you were in the Ballarat International just recently. How did this help in your world ranking?
I increased a little bit, but actually the qualifying period had finished by that stage, so it wasn't too important. It was still good to do well, but it didn't affect our Olympic ranking at all.
Now you'll be competing in Perth from the 23rd to the 25th, I should say, of July at the WA International. How will you be involved in this competition?
Yep, same as all the others, so I'll be playing in the men's singles and the mixed doubles. We do have some representatives from Malaysia, England, maybe Japan, so there's going to be a strong competition, so we'll be playing in that event. Then we actually come back to Victoria for 2 days, and then we head off to Singapore for a training camp.
And the training camp's in Singapore, that's right, and they're supposed to be probably the best team in the world, and that's great for you to get in competition with them. What's the likelihood of you playing against one of those at Athens, or one of those players at Athens?
They've got one men's singles player going who's ranked in the top 10 in the world, so it's a good opportunity for me to be able to train with him to start off with. And there's always a possibility, I guess, 1 in 32 chance, because there's a 32 men's singles draw, so 1 in 32 chance that I'll have to come up against him in the first round, which would be it'd be a tough match, but it would be good to get a couple of weeks training under my belt with him and with the Singapore team. As you said, they are one of the best countries in the world, along with China and Malaysia, who are all full-time professional players.
So what's involved in your training from day to day?
Well, I actually travel to Melbourne every day of the week, and it involves both doing some running, some weights, and then obviously hitting the shuttle. So we train twice a day, every day, morning and night, and we train for about 5 to 6 hours a day, as well as working full time. So it's a pretty hectic lifestyle, but as I said, weights, running, and hitting the shuttle as well. And
the shuttle is very interesting in itself. There's different grades of shuttle. Some are made of goose feathers. How do they differ between training shuttles and the shuttles you use in competition?
Yep, well, you can get goose feather, I guess the 2 main differences are goose feather shuttles, and also they have a plastic shuttle. We don't use the plastic shuttles at all, they're more for junior competitions. Training shuttles, a little bit worse quality, so the quality's not quite there, so they might break a little bit quicker. The speed's a little bit different. Sometimes I can get a fast one, sometimes I can get a slow one, whereas in competition they're all tested before we play, all the same speed, all the same quality, but we still do end up using maybe 2 or 3 dozen per match, and when they work out to be about $3 or $4 a shuttle, that gets rather expensive for the tournament organisers.
It does as well, and humidity makes a difference as well. How do you test that? Because of course it's going to be a lot warmer in Athens than it is here in Ballarat.
Yeah, well, there's actually about 6 shuttle speeds, so we can use anywhere from number 1 to number 6. And what we do is we test them before the start of play. They have to land in a certain area on the court, and if they do that, then we're able to play with them. If they land outside that area, then they're discarded and thrown away.
So how did you first get involved in badminton?
Mum and Dad both used to play, and Dad used to be a tennis coach, so I used to play both badminton and tennis from about age 5 onwards. And then I got to age 10 or 11 and became reasonably good at both, and decided to choose badminton instead of tennis, which may be a good decision now, but money-wise probably a bad decision.
And so Ashley's playing with you as well, he trains with you as well?
Yes, we both still live in Ballarat, so we do travel to Melbourne together each day, and he's training together with myself in the Olympic squad held in Melbourne. But Ash plays doubles and I play singles, so we don't often have to train together.
And how long have you been working with the same coach?
We've actually had a new coach only starting early this year, I should say. He's actually from Chinese Taipei and has also coached Thailand and China, so he's very experienced. He's been in Australia before, left to coach Taiwan, and now has come back. So this is the first time that I've had the opportunity to go to this kind of competition with him, but obviously been to 2 Commonwealth Games. I've had other coaches over there.
Well, all the best with your competition and your competing in Athens. Thanks for that, Stuart.
Thank you.
For more information, go to www.badminton.org.au. Coming up on State Focus, we speak with Troy Casadale about his
barriers to peak performance for athletes. Today's forecast maximum for Athens is 33, and that heat, plus the city's notorious pollution, is why World Anti-Drug Agency boss Dick Pound says he opposed the Greek Olympic bid. The health risks posed by those stifling conditions will be even greater for athletes who suffer from asthma. Yet in their bid to tackle drug use amongst athletes, Olympic officials are demanding even greater proof from asthmatics that they have the condition before they can use the inhalants to ease it. Mary Gearan reports.
That Australia can dominate the pool out of all proportion to its population is in part a strange reward for having one of the world's top rates of asthma. As hundreds of wheezing kiddies are encouraged to jump into the water or play other sports, so our elite squads have garnered more than their share of asthmatics. But that doesn't explain why worldwide there's been an exponential leap in the number putting their hands up for medication since the Atlanta Games.
It went from 373 to 607 in 4 years, and they were the same number of athletes. Now, this does not reflect in any way an increase in asthma in any country to that magnitude in that period of 4 years.
The International Olympic Committee and World Anti-Doping Agency are wary of those saying they need, specifically, inhaled beta-2 agonists, treatments that include the brands Ventolin, Bricanyl and Everitt. The irony is, all medicos seem to agree anyone hoping to cheat with these treatments are fooling themselves. They're not at all, in fact, performance-enhancing. They just seem to be.
A beta agonist also has a slight effect on beta-1 receptors, which is the stimulants. So there is a tiny stimulant effect, but I don't think it has any effect on performance, and I've done 3 studies to prove just that.
Ken Fitch is one of the world's leading asthma experts and moderator of an independent panel that assesses a new level of proof required before asthmatic athletes can use beta-2 agonists.
Now, deep breath in, deep as you can.
Once, all an athlete needed was to have the team doctor sign a form saying he or she was asthmatic. But now athletes like Australian Olympic badminton player Ashley Brehaut must have lung function tests in the field or in accredited labs, measuring his lung capacity before and after an activity simulating exercise. This just 5 weeks out from the Games opening ceremony.
2 days ago, I got a call from our executive director saying that before I go to Athens, I have to take this test, otherwise I can't go. So I got that done pretty quickly.
Brehaut is, in fact, one of 80 asthmatics in a team of 480 athletes. That's 16%, compared to 10% of the general adult population. And those athletes are expected to have a hard time in Athens.
Coming here, I think we're training when it's about 4 or 5 degrees in the sort of stadium of the mornings. So when we go over there, it's going to be 40. So I'll be taking my Ventolin.
3, 2, 1. Empty. Good. Fantastic.
Oh,
I know.
that's harder than training. God.
But there are some who question putting athletes through all this to stop people taking non-performance enhancing drugs.
I find it fairly frustrating to have to qualify asthmatic patients for medications they've been using often for years to enable them to be equal to other non-asthmatic people.
Having treated some members of the current Olympic team, Dr. David Lindsay is a critic of the tests.
At least one patient I know who was necessarily on a moderate dose of prevention therapy and perfectly well, indeed able to qualify for the Olympics, was advised to stop her medication so that she could, if you like, become symptomatic again, so that she would qualify to get the medications for the in Athens. Now that could well have set back her training a few months before the Olympics by a significant amount.
The problems we found in Salt Lake City is some of them we could never induce asthma in them. Even running speed skating in cold air, cross-country skiing in temperatures of -10 degrees didn't produce any asthma. So this is one of the problems that we're finding, that many of them cannot produce asthma because they probably don't have it.
Dr. Lindsay feels litigation is not out of the question for athletes who feel the tests have put them at a disadvantage.
I can imagine an American athlete put in the same circumstance, or a litigious Australian athlete might well say, well, you made me miss some crucial training by telling me I had to stop my medication to qualify for me, and I suppose we could imagine someone might litigate.
Oh, that's over the top. Rubbish. Of course not.
Ashley Brehaut has no problems, winning the dubious prize of being asthmatic beyond all doubt.
For the people that do have the asthma, it's going to make a lot more work, which I'm glad of, but also it's a bit of a pain having to do this to sort of prove that you do have asthma.
Mary Gearin with that report, and that's the program for tonight. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow, but for now, good night.
The region's Olympians arrive home from Athens. 11 Western night, the deal finally done for the sale of Freight Australia. But first tonight, Western Victoria's Olympic athletes are home after what many have described as the greatest 2 weeks of their lives. The entire team flew into Sydney this morning. Most of our Olympians arrived at Melbourne Airport this afternoon. Jeff Sly was there.
It was a reception that almost had Ballarat swimmer Shane Reese in fits of disbelief.
It's amazing. I didn't expect this. I just expected a few cameras and, but nothing there's people everywhere. It's awesome.
For the Reese family, it's been an incredible ride. Parents Graham and Chris are only now prepared to believe their daughter's an Olympian.
She hasn't been home to Ballarat for nearly 5 weeks, so, all our family and a lot of our friends have been wanting to catch up with her.
Yeah, very good to be home. It was a long flight and a few celebrations in Sydney as well this morning, so it's been a long flight and it's good to get home eventually.
For others, like rowing silver medalist Anthony Edwards, the wait's been longer. He hasn't seen Ballarat since January.
In particular, the last couple of days, I think everyone in the whole team's been looking forward to getting back to their home and spending time with their families.
Shane Reese's break will be brief. She'll attack the short course titles in Sydney in 3 weeks with renewed hunger.
2 years ago I was about to give it up, so, you know, being here now, definitely motivation and getting back into training. You always think of, you know, this moment and, you know, you're just hungry for it.
Badminton's Ashley Brehaut is looking further ahead.
I'll only be 27 when Beijing comes around, so for doubles that's pretty much the prime, so I'm pretty much looking forward to going there now, yeah.
But for Anthony Edwards, the hunger is satisfied.
3 Olympics, 3 medals. I never thought I'd get that far, so you know, and as much as you know, I'd love to do Beijing. When I weigh it up, you know, the training that I have to go through in the next 4 years, I just it would be far too hard.
Jeff Sly, Win News.
The city of Ballarat is among 11 Western
players is reassessing his future in the game. Stuart Brehaut has captained the Australian team, been to 2 Commonwealth Games and the Athens Olympics, but now he says his time at the top level may be drawing to an end.
Stuart Brehaut returned yesterday from the Athens Games to a warm reception. The 25-year-old has tasted the heights of his sport, 2 Commonwealth Games, the national captaincy, and now his first Olympics. But while younger brother Ashley is desperately keen to play on until Beijing, Stuart is not so sure, preferring not to look beyond the Melbourne Commonwealth Games.
2006 first, and then we'll wait and see what happens after that, but I'll be nearly 30, so might be time to start coaching or something like that, I'm not sure, but yeah, maybe a little bit too old, I'm not sure.
A first-round loss in Athens, courtesy of the toughest of draws in the singles, was tough for Stuart to take, especially for a player who was undefeated in the team section at the last Commonwealth Games.
I was happy with the way I played, but obviously couldn't beat him.
Now the sights are firmly on 2 years of preparation for Melbourne. In the meantime, he gives the impression retirement has already come into the calculations.
We need some coaches in Australia as well, so it'd be good, and I enjoy working with some of the juniors in Ballarat already, so it's not too bad, so it's something I look forward to in the future.
Jeff Sly, Win News.
North Ballarat will take 23...
The Regional Olympic City has officially welcomed home its Olympic athletes from the Athens Games. The 7 athletes were paraded through the centre of Ballarat before being presented at a reception at Town Hall.
Athens may be half a world away from Ballarat, but that Olympic feeling refuses to lie down. A couple of hundred well-wishers braving the cool Ballarat weather to welcome home the city's Olympians. As Olympians from past games looked on, rower Anthony Edwards arrived with 3 of his best friends, his 3 Olympic medals, including the silver from Athens.